Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game between 120 or 120 going up against Michael, also known as Lucifer in the past. This is going to be an undead versus undead mirror match here on Northern Isles. Michael has spawned as the teal undead player over here on the top right hand side of the map. Meanwhile, over here on the bottom left, we have 120, 120 spawning as, well, thank you for the follow, spawning as the red undead. This undead versus undead mirror match is going to be getting underway here. And well, what are we really looking for? First of all, I got to mention that this is a higher stakes game. This is coming in from the WGL winter season. And well, in an undead versus undead mirror match, you often see different types of heroes. Because of the Death Knight lack of utility, not being able to nuke enemy units early on, it is not uncommon to see, say, Crypt Lord or even Lich first in this matchup. With that said, though, I would not be surprised if it is still a Death Knight versus a Death Knight. There's Crypt Lord number 1, and there is Crypt Lord number 2. Crypt Lord generally a little bit stronger with that impale, and also being able to go wide early allows him to be able to set up expansions, surround enemy heroes and enemy units, and all with just using those corpses on the ground for those beetles and those skeletal minions. With that said, it looks like the build orders are pretty much similar right there. Tomb of Relics, 2 Ziggurats, Ghouls Mining. If you look at the overhead tab, gold is pretty much exactly the same. Lumber is pretty much exactly the same as well. So this is a true mirror match so far in every sense of the word. Acolyte doing a little bit of dance back and forth. We see one acolyte by Michael making all the way down, doing a little bit of scouting, and now heading back off to the north. There you see sacrificial skull and also a rod of necromancy being added here as we're going to be engaging. Going straight after that, Null Warden right there. Gonna try and finish it off. Get into another rod of necromancy charge. Skeletal minions should be popping on up. Right behind that, we should be looking at more carrion beetles joining in on the fight. And then once you have enough units, well, 120 will be making its way across here. All right, there you go. There's summing up another rod of necromancy. There's 4 beetles. Units are already making their way out. Meanwhile, Michael going a different route, opting to go straight for the 5-4-2-2 creep camp first. By going straight for that creep camp, it does give it a little bit of an earlier break in terms of trying to clear everything up here. Ice Troll, it will end up getting finished off. We are already looking at a fair number of units out here on the battlefield. Meanwhile, the Blight Ziggurat is already done here, or getting started in here as well. So a little bit of a slight delay or difference as Michael is now about to finish up this Ziggurat at the expansion. However, 120 should have, well, a very, very high armor hero. Look at this, double rings of protection, one of +3, one of +4, as the units are about to, well, pass each other here. These beetles making their way off to the north. We're going to see Rod of Necromancy be used down to the south here. More ghouls will be coming back across. These ghouls are full on hit points. One of them very gung-ho, actually opting to bring over some lumber to the battle, as we're going to be looking at this Ziggurat getting taken down. Michael very aggressive with this timing, and because he skipped that earlier first green creep camp, he was able, oh, there's a surround, and that is the big issue right there. 120 is going to be in some serious trouble now, as we may end up seeing this one Crypt Lord getting taken out. Who is going to end up losing more units? Scroll of Town Portal about to end up, what? All right, apparently, please wait. Apparently, there was a little bit of issue for the observers. I'm trying to get back in. All right, here we go. Trying to get back in as Michael going to clear up the remainder of these creep camps down on the south side here. All right, ghouls are here. One Nerubian tower is already up. However, the gold mine is not yet haunted, and that is potentially an issue here. Meanwhile, back off to the north, we are looking at the Crypt Lord regenerating some hit points. That additional armor really making a difference early on with that 10 armor there. Can the red Crypt Lord just use Impale, then escape? I don't think the units are actually in the air long enough to really be able to do that. Yes, they are technically in the air, but I don't think they stay in the air long enough for them to be like, okay, I'm now going to walk underneath you while you are in the air. we are looking at healing coming across from 120. 120 is sitting on level 3, so he's is going to be able to get some level 2 beetle action going on here, as we're looking at Michael now making its way back. And what is this? Michael able to attack here. And what's interesting is that the acolytes
A
do have
player's
very
forces
fast
are under attack.
regeneration while on blight, as we're looking at the haunted gold mine getting into a little bit of problems here. All right, more beetles swarming on over 15 to 18 damage. There is another cancellation. Meanwhile, over here on the bottom right, 120
The
is going to
town is
go
under
for his
siege.
expansion and attempt to set it up for the second time. Acolytes making their way over, doing a little bit of repairs as well. We're going to see the Acolytes, however, now start suffering a bit of damage, as well as this Nerubian tower should really
A
switch
player's
targets to
forces are under
try and
attack.
keep those units alive and well. Meanwhile, making their way across, 120 will shut down this Nerubian tower and this expansion attempt. And while setting up his own 120, who seemed like he was in so much trouble just a minute and a half ago, now in the driver's seat of this game once more. Yes, he's down a scroll of Town Portal, but he is further along in his expansion, and it looks like it may be able to get set up here without that much of an issue, even though he will
A
be going
player's
up
forces
against,
are
well,
under attack.
level 2 beetles in just a moment. The tech to tier 2 Ziggurat, or that tech 2's the Rubian Tower now getting underway. Acolytes trying to fight back here.
The
More
town is under
beetles making their way
siege.
across, as we're looking at the beetles trying to swarm over here at the haunted gold mine. Both sides sitting at tier 1, and this is turning into just a roach infestation. Both homes unable to really stay up and operational, as the number of beetles are just attacking the acolytes, forcing the stop, forcing the tech to tier 2 to be on halt. More acolytes need to be trained up here. We're taking a look at where they're going to be going. There goes some more beetles
A
as well.
player's forces are
Where
under
are all
attack.
the acolytes? There they are. 4 currently working. A 5th one should be transferred over. Meanwhile, back across here, this one acolyte just going to back up again. This is the benefit of going for that quote unquote wide army, as I mentioned, being able to just commit with these carrion beetles 15 to 18 damage. Yes, the beetles actually deal more damage than ghouls if they actually had similar attack speeds. Attack speeds are, well, average as opposed to fast, so I believe the ghouls actually still win out ever so slightly. Ice Troll Warlord about to get taken out. Crota, you should change your name to Crota WC.
A player's forces are
I
under
don't know if
attack.
they allow me to change my name to Crota WC. I tried to change it to Crota Gaming, and they're like, it's already taken. I'm like, really, really. Anyways, Cryptlord gonna go ahead and pick up a Wand of the Wind. There is that Wand of the Wind right there. More damage coming back across from the rest of those creeps, as the Cryptlord now making its way back down. We are looking at a spirit tower and well, 2
The
spirit
town
towers,
is
1
under
Nerubian
siege.
tower, as this haunted gold mine is
A
about to get
player's
up and
forces
running.
are
We
under
do see
attack.
1 carrion beetle down here trying to take this down. Doesn't look like it will really work, as we're finally looking at 120, perhaps. No, not yet taking the tier 2 still after all this time. We are 8 minutes into this game with no. Oh, there we go. A quick impale right there. Is the crippler going to be able to back away? It is going to try and break free. There is a quick impale, and there's your answer. Unable to break free right there. A beautiful scroll of healing used right there, and now trying to break free out of this tight box here. It looks like a lot of damage is being done, and well, 120 is going to be in serious trouble. There's another impale there. Ghouls are going to get taken out, but this is a fight that Michael should not mind actually being in. Here's a quick resurrection there in order to get a little bit more experience out. Level 4, we do have a Wand of Mana Stealing, so we may end up losing more mana again. And well, both sides are just losing a lot of ghouls in this, well, what I'm going to call a roach infestation. And across the board, there has constantly been 12 beetles out here on the board, just trying to constantly attack, take out more units. All right, continuing Undead Mirror. Yuck. Well, no, well, normally Undead Mirror matches in the past have been very interesting, but this has just turned into, well, go wide early on.
A
Very
player's forces
delayed
are
tech
under
to tier
attack.
2 by both sides. Finally getting tech to tier 2 by Michael and 120. Lich first is perhaps probably one of my favorite mirror matches, but with the Beatles being so strong and so many undead players now going for a fast expansion, Cryptlord versus Cryptlord, it just seems like the natural transition.
A town is under siege.
All right. Real Yeah, a lot of micro, lot of early action coming across here. The decisions by both players, and a lot of execution plays by both sides, really making a big difference. And that's really what you want to see in a good game of Warcraft 3. You want execution and decision making to be the main dictator and the main pacing of the game. Oh, one mana stealing being used right there, denying a bit of mana once more as we are now going into an engagement. All right, ghouls are trying to fight around here. Red ghoul versus teal ghouls, and there are so many hit point bars on this map. And normally you don't see this many hit point bars because you don't see that many 2 supply units by undead this early on, and then, well, 0 supply units as well, skeletal minions and these beetles, all these small units. You got to remember this is a 41 supply versus a 35 supply army, and it feels like there's just moving hit point bars all over the place. Ghoul is going to try to engage here, 40 supply, and it looks like Michael does not want to engage. It does feel like Zerg versus Zerg right here, except for instead of queens, you have lords, as the Crypt Lord now trying to chase after those units once more. All right, coming back around. Crypt Lord going to engage again. We are looking at another ghoul about to get taken down. Unlucky unsnare, as we're looking at a perhaps impale right there, picking up many of those units. Only sitting at level 2 impale, not yet quite level 3. There was the item pickup, a Cloak of Shadows, not necessarily the best item whatsoever. And the Crypt Lords both having very great survivability, 10 armor compared to an additional 150 hit points. I'm not quite sure actually which one actually wins out more in terms of, well, survivability. I do know that the Crippler with the Belt of Giant Strength is regenerating more hit points and also dealing 6 more damage than his opponent as the units are retreating back again. All right, Crypt Fiends are finally out here on the battlefield, and Michael, with a couple of Crypt Fiends, should be able to, well, use that range advantage here, as we are also looking at 120 transitioning into Crypt Fiends as well. As the units are backing up, we are now finally getting into this what I call the mid game here, and having tier 2 units, Halls of the Dead. We are going for the Death Knight second, and we are also going into Temple of the Damned. Temple of the Damned, Banshees, and Necromancers. And we are also going into a slaughterhouse here. Is Michael actually going to be bringing Necro Wagon? Um, Necro Wagon? Um, Necro Wagon into the battlefield here. There's a death quell for that. I don't think it actually did anything. Death Knight now making its way back over. Necro Wagon, and well, almost level 5 on that Crypt Lord here. Just needs but 4 experience more. The Death Knight actually taking a double potions of mana right there. Is it going to perhaps try and add in just a little bit more damage? The Crypt Fiends brought to the party here, and here we go, ready for that fight now. This Death Knight does have, well, transfers a potion of mana right there. There's a quick impale trying to finish off some of those units. Death Coil not going to be in time, and Death Coil not in time there. It looks like 120, perhaps a little bit of lag, but it's better to see that the Death Coil was not even cast at all, as opposed to on its way before that unit ends up falling. Web, well, taking down that one Goblin Zeppelin once more. Death Coil, the Death Knights just bringing gifts galore, as the Crypt Lord here using another impale, and there you go, gonna go ahead and pick it up. I believe the Death Coil still landed, as we see still a successful surround right here. All right, there's another Death Coil trying to break free, as 120 is able to do exactly that. 57 supply compared to 51. 120 having a little bit more gold, but, well, Michael having a little bit of a larger army as the units once more engage. There is an impale right there, only hitting 3 units, as Michael, well, Scroll of Healing trying to save Death Coil right on time, saving that unit there as a burrow, as Michael's Crypt Fiend sticks its head in the sand. A lot of micro being used very, very well here, as units are still trying to make their way back out. And I wonder, if you impale a burrowed unit, does it actually pop up out of the ground and then stay there? And that would actually be interesting. Since you are technically impaling, you should be able to hit the unit, or, you know, thematically, you should be able to pop the unit up out of the ground. I'm surprised that hasn't come up in a replay as of yet. I know that if you impale or if you stun a shadow melded unit, it breaks shadow meld. But if you impale it, does it like pop up out of the ground? It's in the air, and then does it have time to burrow itself again? I don't know. Seems like something for some map maker to try and test out. And then if the results are interesting, well, that video will have more views than any of mine.
Player's forces
Aren't burrowed units magic immune? I don't think so. If you burrow a Crypt Fiend, but it's revealed, you can still stun it, right? And I believe if you have a burrowed Crypt Fiend, you can still cast Blizzard on top of it, and it will take damage. All right, coming back around. Unit still fighting once more. Magnetar Reaver trying to break free right here. There is Obsidian Statues getting in a lot of heal, and Michael's low hit point Ghoul is still holding that front door. Death Knight sitting at level 3. Looks like more damage will get added up. Meanwhile, back down across here, we're looking at, well, the Crypt Lord still engaging. 120's army of ghouls now picks up True Shot Aura, not necessarily the item he was looking for. Meanwhile, the Death Knight and the Lich actually doing a little bit of creeping as well. Lich already with plus 10 damage between the Orb of Corruption and that Claws of Attack. We are looking at a true mirror match. So far, 70 compared to 71 supply. Hero choices are the same. Hero levels are slightly different. And both players sitting on the same number of bases with very similar expansions. Coming back around here, Death Knight still sitting at level 3. Lich sitting at level 1. Does not have level 2, or does not have Dark Ritual, obviously, as the ghouls, or one ghoul going to easily get taken down right there. Down it goes. As the units are, well, preparing their attack here, the tracker will get taken out. Ring of Protection +4. Death Knight, is it going to pick it up? Yes, Death Knight now picks it up as the units are backing up, forcing a Scroll of Town for a little bit earlier. I don't think so. Remo was saying if they are burrow and you stomp them as Orc, they can't unburrow then. Well, I guess they're technically stunned, but um, the coding for the impale is that the unit is actually in the air, right? It changes that the unit is actually in the air for a little bit of time, but they are still invulnerable while in the air until they hit the ground. So I guess that is the question to see, whether or not burrowed units like that, if they actually only just take the damage, or if they are actually in the air and then do they come back down into the ground and are burrowed right after, because they had a hole? Really too difficult to tell. You can attack in the air units now as no, I thought they were invulnerable. Otherwise, they were afraid that there was just going to be too much bugging of ground units dying in the air and the game not working out well. I don't know if that's still the case as we now look at, well, Michael pushing in forward with Beetles, the Crypt Fiends, on only one Obsidian Statue. And, well, there's that second Obsidian Statue. Meanwhile, both sides not opting even in for one Meat Wagon. We do see anti-magic shell coming in from the Banshees. That is to try and protect from, obviously, the Impales, the Death Coils, and the Frost Novas. As you see a big Impale right there. There's another Impale coming back across the other side. Obsidian Statues healing on both sides there, as we're looking at one Crypt Fiend quickly getting taken out. Death Coil of saving 120 units, but Michael going to have a very big advantage with level 3 on that Death Knight over his opponent. However, another quick Impale. Death Coil saves once more as the Death Knight in trouble. Potion of Lesser Invulnerability will keep him alive for a little while as the units are now hiding in the back. There goes another Impale as well. Impale after Impale, Death Coil after Death Coil. 69 supply compared to 70 as 120 ready to, well, defend his expansion a little bit more, forcing his opponent to use a Scroll of Town Portal. But Michael does have another Haunted Gold Mine that he should be canceling off over here on the bottom right. Keeping up with the patch notes, for Warcraft 3 right now, very difficult because so many beta patch notes, and and as they swap back and forth, I find it difficult to remember which is actually real patch notes and which ones are actually the beta. So if it is now released in the beta that you can attack impaled units in the air, well, and I guess that's great. And as we're looking at a Pendant of Energy now being put on by 120. So 120 going to the marketplace for a lot of shopping. And now we're going to see this one Crypt Lord up to 400 mana. That is going to be a very big deal here. Another interesting thing is we do have Curse getting cast across multiple units because of those Banshees. Anti-Magic Shell, and, well, does that mean actually a Destroyer would be useful? Probably not. With the number of Crypt Fiends out here already onto the battlefield, well, it looks like 120 is going to try to go get some just devour magic and remove some of that curse. Perhaps even being able to devour magic and remove some of the anti-magic shell. Because it does actually no, does it deals damage technically? I don't know. I don't think it actually works that way. Now that I think about it a little bit more. All right, getting ready to engage here. Unit's gonna try and pull back, and there is a little bit of that damage. In comes an impale right across already as the destroyer is gonna try and go straight after that lich, remove some of that mana anti-magic shell, and there you go, a little bit of damage once more. Michael gonna be a little bit of trouble. Banshee needs to get another anti-magic shell. Has not been recast as of yet, as the battle now raging on through. But well, both armies sitting on Blight. Michael having some of his units off of Blight, that's actually going to be very, very key here, as Michael lines up a great impale right there, picking up the units and dropping them back down. All right, Lich in trouble. There is not a death blow to try and save, but not going to be able to keep it alive here, as the level two Lich of 120 falls. More battling coming back across. Level 4 now on the Death Knight of Michael as he's pushing on through. Level 2 on this Lich. Still has a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. And really, it looks like Michael is just being able to find units just out of position constantly as he's getting reinforced and getting quickly surrounded. Crypt Fiends, however, are now on Blight. Ghoul is going to go get impaled right there, and Death Knight could be in trouble. Down to 27 hit points. Gets the Scroll of Town Portal just in time, as we are still trying to figure out a way to fight through here. Crypt Lord, very low on hit points. What is he doing? He does have a Pendant of Energy as well. The Spirit Tower could start to put a little bit of damage on that Crypt Lord, but a Death Coil gets him back up to full. There goes a quick impale once across multiple Acolytes, and this Spirit Tower looks like it could get taken down. However, an Abomination coming in from the back as well. All right, Michael does have the advantage of being on Blight, but he is getting attacked from behind by those Spirit Towers. And if 120 wants to make something happen, he should do it quickly. 68 supply compared to 83. He cannot afford to lose this expansion, as Michael is up on bases on the bottom right as well. Crypt Fiends now continuing that chase. Lich of Michael only sitting at level 2, even after all this time, as damage could get added up very quickly. All right, but Lich finally gets up to level 3. Not quite sure what fell. Maybe an Acolyte or two, as more damage going to get added on back there again. Coming back through, Destroyer. Well, I'm going to finish off that Spirit Tower here. We're going to get into a little bit of an engagement. Death Knight now back out onto the field as well. Are we going to see an impale? Yes, we are. Impale across those units. Death Coil saving Michael's unit. The Death Knight being picked up, dropped back down, and getting well focused down very quickly. 120's Death Knight could end up getting taken down. Potion of Healing being used once more, but it may not be enough, as we're looking at the Death Knight here. Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. Michael saves it at 7 hit points as the Death Knight falls for 120. Once again. All right, a beautiful a bit of pressure by Michael, using every hit point out of his units. His Death Knight getting down to 7 hit points, and before using of Lesser Invulnerability, he himself was able to finish off his opponent's Death Knight 2 times, and well, really just command that lead. Michael, 2 minutes left mining on that base. 120, well, should be able to mine for another 4 minutes here, but Acolytes were off of the gold mine, so he was not mining for a little bit of time. As the Lich sitting at level 3, that True Shot aura, I thought it would have made a much bigger difference than it has. However, it looks like Michael's, well, overall supply advantage may translate better. He also has the armor advantage on those Crypt Fiends. 3-3 compared to, well, compared to what, 3-1 on those Crypt Fiends. So the Crypt Fiends are actually able to absorb quite a bit more damage as well. More mining getting underway here. Crypt are going to try and perhaps give a little bit of a chase. Are we going to see more damage come across through? Yes, we are. Banshee getting in more mana, and perhaps we could also see Possession. All right, I apologize if I have not been keeping track of Possession. Possession in an undead matchup, a little bit more difficult to catch, as you have no real visual indicator at the end of the battle if a possession was used. All right, here we are. Here we go. Crippler going to try to line it up. There's that big impale across multiple units. That long time stun. Curse now getting cast across all of the units as well. Obsidian statues are in the back line, as we're looking at Michael with a very low hit point. Crypt Lord trying to push in, is going to be able to stay alive, and it looks like, well, there goes a Crypt Fiend, but the Crypt Lord is able to survive right there. More damage coming back again. Crypt Fiends getting focused down very quickly, as we're looking at, well, Michael's Crippler could be in trouble, forced to use a Scroll of Town Portal. Death Coil does save right there as an, oh, beautiful a point blank Death Coil for a save once more. 120 not giving up, even though he is down by 30 supply. And we are going to be looking at, well, a battle here. Michael, is he going to perhaps end up losing this expansion? The units are already in transition over. Units are fighting their way through. Death Knight going to be, well, trying to run across here. 83 supply compared to 57. 120 needs to win this battle and win it outright. Meanwhile, the units are now making their way over. Banshees are making their way in as well. And this is not a good position. 120 is actually just completely exposed along the backside. But that Death Knight of Michael could be in trouble. All right, taking a lot of damage. Well, the Scroll of Healing quickly being used, trying to back away. Crippler trying to make room for it, and well, nicely done as the units, just the size of the army of 120 or of Michael, enough to challenge 120's army. There goes the Lich. Crippler gets up to level 6. We should be going into the ultimate ability that that Locust Swarm, excuse me, not Carrion Swarm, that Locust Swarm, and that would have been enough to just win that battle of attrition. In the end, Michael, with that early aggression and shutting down 120's expansion. And it was really a back and forth battle for quite a bit of time. Just going back and forth, back and forth. But in the end, Michael was able to start inching out ahead, building on his advantage more and more. And that was enough. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.